Hi, welcome to Microsoft Office training with me, Demetrius. I hope you're ready to learn something cool, maybe something useful, have a little fun, and if you're lucky, some explosions. Okay, let's get started. We're picking up in a power session about Excel formulas and functions, emphasis on fun and functions. We've just finished our discussion on creating simple formulas, and we're about to get into the AutoSum function. Let's check it out. So, what if I told you there was an even faster way to do this? Because there is. Check this out. I'm going to click in this cell right here, and on the Home tab of my ribbon, as well as the Formulas tab on my ribbon, you will find what is called an AutoSum button. The AutoSum button here, and like I said, on the Home tab of the ribbon, and your ribbon may look a little bit different depending on your screen resolution, but you'll see that epsilon, sigma, actually, is it sigma? It is a sigma. It's not an epsilon, sorry. I'm not all about the Greek letters. It's a sigma here. It means sum. It's the shorthand for sum. And you can see if I select a cell and click that button, it does basically everything for me. Excel even takes an educated guess at the numbers that I'm trying to include. So you can see equals sum, open parentheses, B2 through D2. If it's correct, all I have to do is press enter. Bam! That was fast. So if I wasn't explaining this, this is how fast it would go. I want to put a total here, click, enter, done. And it's fully dynamic, meaning if this number changes to 1, that changes. If it changes to a million, billion, trillion, that changes. That's not a million, billion, trillion. That's actually only a million. So it doesn't matter what happens. It's fully dynamic. Okay, questions so far? Let's travel forward in time to when I talk about the AutoSum on hyperdrive. Let me show you another super fancy trick here. Let me go back to the sum function because that's the one that works the best in my brain. So 18 plus 12 plus 15, I press enter, it tells me 45, that's fantastic. Check this out. The sum function has a built-in little gadget that nobody knows about except for me and like one Russian guy named Sergey. Right, that's not exactly true. Tommy knows about it, and there's a few other people who have been in my other classes who know about it. But this is a really cool trick. Check this out. If you are in a situation where you have a bunch of numbers that are contiguous like this, that are all next door neighbors, and you need to get some totals for those numbers, either in rows like this or in the columns like this, there's a very easy way to do this. You could actually do all of these all at the same time, like this. See what I did here? I selected all of the cells, the ones with the values, and the cells where I want the totals to go, and then click the AutoSum button. Kablam! That's magic. That just did 17 calculations in one click. That is awesome. So how does that work? Well, it works exactly the same way as the AutoSum function did before, except it's doing it on 17 rows and columns all at the same time. The way it does that is because there's only one logical conclusion. If you select all of this area, if you select all of these cells, the only logical conclusion is that if you select this empty cell here along, and this was empty, of course it's not anymore, but if you selected all of these and the empty cell next to it, the only logical conclusion is, if you're hitting the function, the sum function, is that you want the sum total in that cell. There's no other logical thing that you could be wanting to do. I mean, certainly you're not trying to do this and then have a magic rabbit jump out of your hat. That doesn't make any sense. Certainly if you're doing that, you don't want to do, some sort of division on another worksheet. That doesn't make any sense. The only logical conclusion is that if you are selecting those cells with all of these empties, and we'll make these empty again, with all of these empty cells, the only logical conclusion is that you want totals in all of those cells. And the color of the background has nothing to do with it. The only thing that matters here is that I selected all of the cells that contain the values and the contiguous, the next door neighbor cells. And then, kaplow! I get magical magic done because it does, well, let's count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I was off by one, sorry. 16 calculations simultaneously. Magic. They are all dynamic, meaning if this 0 changes to 999,999, it changes the calculation here, which changes the calculation here, it changes the calculation here, which changes the calculation here, it changes all of those. Magical magic. Magical magic indeed. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for joining me on this little adventure. I hope you didn't suffer any injuries from the masses of awesomeness that were coming out of your screen. Contact me anytime if you have any questions or comments, and until then, have a wonderful day.